Okay, the idea of this exercise is to come up with a mix. I'm going to mix to about a 5 in the value scale, and we're going to mix a neutral in that out of 2 colors. We'll just start with blue and orange. This is a good place to start, and if you go ahead and neutralize this a little bit and then bring it up to value. Now it can be on the warm side, it can be on the cool side, it doesn't really matter. Just get it fairly close to neutral so it doesn't look blue and it doesn't look red. And you want to take it to a 5. Very simple to compare this to the tonal chart. Got to go a little lighter. I'm mixing up a pretty good pool because I'm going to be pulling out of this and pulling pools out of it. Now, this is the way I mix when I paint constantly, but this is just an exercise to get you used to it and to be really specific about color. I mean value in color. So what you're trying to do is not move out of value as you move through color changes. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on that. Right about to there. That should do it. Now, anytime you're mixing color, it's going to influence the value that you're mixing it into. It's either going to be darker or lighter unless it happens to be the value of the natural color is exactly the same. So like an orange is very close to this. So if I put orange in, it's not going to move this very far into a darker or lighter value. So I'm going to go ahead and touch some of this right to the value, and I see that I can go just a little bit lighter. So here we are. There's my big pool of neutralized blue and orange. Very nice warm side color. Now I could have mixed a little more blue in and white and got it to the cooler side, but this is just an exercise. I'm not matching anything to a painting. So I'm just trying to get that number 5 value. Now I'm going to be cross-checking this, but basically I want to take some of this value and put it in my center little circle that I've drawn there. And I did this with a quarter and nickels and just surrounded them. I will actually email you the piece of paper that I've done that on. I can digitize it, but in general, it's really easy to do this, and you can even do it without circles. It's irrelevant. Now, what I'm going to do is take this 3 different directions. I'm going to take it towards a red mixture. So let's, now, I'm sorry, we're working in primaries here just for fun. We can work in secondaries or anything else, but let's take it towards a red mixture on this side of this pool. Okay. So I want some of that neutral to come out. And I'm just trying to stay in value and get a reddish tint to that value. That's the whole idea. Now, it's gone a little bit darker. If you put this over here, you'll see right against that it's gone just a little bit darker. So how do you get it back? White. You'll take it right back up to value. If you squint, you can see them next to each other like this, and it'll really help you move without going too far out of value. Right about like that is right back in value now. So I'm taking this towards red. So I've warmed that color up. Now, I'm going to take it towards an even redder version of red now. But keep it right in value. So it's still a grade red, but it's a very red version of that gray. Now, as I put the red in, the red is a darker value. It's about a 6. So I've got to put white in there to maintain my value. This is very important to painting because you want to be able to move within value. So now I've got 3 different mixes of that red. I'm going to go ahead and take one more mix out here of the reddest red I can get with just a hint of that gray in it. right up to value again. And there we go. I'll put another little pinkish kind of circle out there. Now, why are these other little circles here? What I want you to do is I want you to go into your original mix here and take it out towards a blue and towards a yellow. So, don't need that much blue. And take a little bit of this. And work that little bit of blue into it. Now, of course, blue is going to darken it up pretty good. So I got to bring it back up in value. So what we end up with here is the number 5. This it really helps to squint when you're looking at these colors and use enough paint to actually make a difference there. See, now there's a blue version of this. There's the red version, there's the blue version, there's the grayed red version. Now out of this one here, which is here, I'm going to also make a bluer version. So that's going to get kind of more purplish, right? As you saw, I don't need very much blue to influence it. There we go. So now on the same side, that's getting a little darker too, so I need to brighten it back up with a little white, or tint it up, they say. Tinting is the word you use for that. Now, this is coming out of this pool, right? So you're going to hook that one right to there. And now let's get a little bit of this blue into my brightest red, which should make a pretty bright purple. There we are. And I can come off to the side of this one. So you've got 3 different shades here. Now, of course, they're all kind of bluish, but they're shooting off of my grays, so they're a tint that's exactly the same value of the gray towards the blue side. Now let's head the other direction. Let's head over towards, I'm going to move this a little. Let's head on this side of this pool. Let's head towards the yellow side. So I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, put it in here. That's just about right. Just don't want to go quite that yellow. There, perfect. There's over to the yellow side. Now let's go out of this pool right here. In other words, this secondary, it's more reddish. So I should get a more orangey looking color, correct? Or color. Isn't that right? I guess color correct could be. So there's a nice tinted orangey. This also gets you used to using your palette knife. So again, I've already come out of this color. Now I'm coming out of this color. So I'll put a little swath of that there. See how that gets that nice orangey feel to it now? It's getting a little crowded because I overdid those, but you don't need to be super neat about this unless you just feel like you want to have some fun being neat. The idea is to get the color mixed and get it mixed in a way that's meaningfully different from the value, or from they would call this the chroma is changing, correct? So this is out of this pool. So it's a brighter version of this grayed orange. That's the first version, a grayed version of the orange, a little bit orangier and completely orange. So now I'm not going to take you all the way through all of these. All you need to know is out of another side of this pool now, this is done. You can keep going on these things even further out, but once you get to the pure color, which would be the next step here with the red, then you've got pure chroma happening, a pure purple blue and on the side, and a pure orangish color on this side, and a pure red, all tinted right to a number 5. If you squint at this, you'll see they're all in number 5 value. Now you can do it in a 6, you can do it in a 4, you can do it in a 3. It doesn't really matter which value you do it in, but you're going to have different limits. Some things, and I want you to experiment, move at least 2 values each direction and try this whole exercise again. It will be invaluable, much more valuable in my mind than doing color charts. So we're going to pull some of this paint out to the side, which is the way I usually mix when I'm trying to stay right in value. And now this one I headed off into red. So just for fun, let's head off into yellow on this side. So see how we're getting kind of a little bit of a greeny look, same value, real nice. So now I can put that right there. Okay, now we're going to go further. There's that yellow. I want to keep that pool mixed up there. But we're going to come out even further here into more of a yellow mix. Still keeping value. Easy with yellow because since it's a lighter value, it tends to want to stay in that value as just being influenced a little bit by that. Goes a long ways. But when I go all the way to almost a pure yellow, which was that almost a pure red out here, I certainly don't need to add any white. And I'm fighting to keep in value because as you can see, yellow is a 3 value or a 2 value even in that. Well, it's about a 3. So that's as far as I can go in that. If I use pure yellow, it's going to jump out of value. See that? It goes way too light. So the only way to darken it down would be to put some of this back in it, put blue in it, it would change the color. So this is the limit of how far I can go on that in a value 5. Now, I would continue to do the same thing. I would bring a blue side out, a red side out, a blue side out, a red side out, and put them in the appropriate places. And then, of course, my next mix obviously would be to the blues. So I would just, because I'm going in the primaries, so I pull some of this out to the side. I'll just do one mix. So there's the blue. It's gotten a little bit darker. Of primary importance is keeping your value. That's why the exercise is being done. If you're not going to bother keeping the value, don't bother doing the exercise. It's trying to get you into discipline of doing that. Take it a little bit further out. Still influencing with that gray. Bringing it back up in value and placing that value here. So what you do is once you're done with this, you'll have this big beautiful chart that runs out, but you'll also learn how far you can go. In a 5, you can go out 3 or 4 steps. In a 3, if you take it to a 3 value, you're going to be able to only go a couple of steps because you're already almost out to the end. If you get really dark, it's going to have a whole nother dynamic. What I want you to do is go on that discovery process, that discovery road, and find out what are your limits in your different colors. It'll tell you a lot about color. But the whole idea of this is to come up with a nice, colorful chart that really shows the values as they move, or shows the chroma as it moves through value. Disregard the yellow down there. We're not looking at that. Okay, so enjoy.